Let me introduce my panel. To my left, Honorable Gladys Wanga, who's the Homa Bay County Women's Rep. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Victoria.
Glam Pam, looking absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
One of the Nairobi Diaries cast members, but also a businesswoman, interior designer, actress, model. Can I go on? Or we'll stop there.
We'll stop there.
Bridget Achieng, as well, a Nairobi Diaries cast member. You also are a philanthropist. You have the Bridget World Foundation. Helping children in Kibera. You'll be telling us more about that. A fashionista, actress, and feminist as well. But thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Let me begin with you, Glam Pam, because, you know, when we see you looking beautiful, you have your makeup done, hair, dress, you represent this whole idea of, well, slay queen or someone who's been sponsored or blessed, for lack of a better term. What do you make of that judgment that people would make with that first impression of you?
Well, unfortunately, I do get judged a lot because they think I'm being sponsored all the time, or I'm being sponsored at all. I'm a slay queen. And who says business women are not slay queens? I am a business person. I'm confident. I'm self-made. But even if I have a boyfriend who is earning money, it doesn't mean I'm not sharing his money or he can't treat me with his money. But I also have my own money. I have my stuff together. You know, I'm a motivational speaker as well. So I like people to see me. I like young girls and women to know that you can make it. We watch celebrities, we watch rich people, and everybody wants to be rich. Everybody wants a good life. Yeah. Everybody wants to be, women want to be slay queens. They want to dress good all the time. But it starts from you. It doesn't start from someone else. You have to have that perception. You have to be self-made. You have to have self-respect. You have to have motivation. You have to be able to understand what you want. Don't do things to please people. I don't do that.
So before you became Glamour Pam, what's your story? How did you begin?
Well, I'm fortunate that I come from a well-off background. Yeah. My family is quite well-off, so, you know, politician, business-oriented, so I learned a lot. But with that being said, there was a lot of ups and downs. And my mom brought me up to know that you have to earn your own. You have to be able to be respected. You have to respect yourself. You have to know what you want and understand what you want. Everybody's got talent, and I just followed my talent. It took me a while to realize what I wanted. It took me a while to realize I had a talent, and what can I work on to make me be respected, to make me get what I want, to make me do what I want in life. And that's what I did. I concentrated on my talent. It wasn't easy. You know, you fall up, you get back up again. But again, with that, you have to have self-esteem. You have to look at the tunnel and look at the light at the other tunnel. When people don't see it, you have to have that third eye. And it takes a lot of confidence. It takes a lot of knocking back and forth, your friends, your circle. Yeah. All of these things take a toll in your life. And it's how you perceive yourself and how you push forward and how your confidence and how you build yourself makes you who you are.
And you know, I mean, now when we're dealing with an age of social media, where a lot of young women are told you have to look a certain way to attract certain attention from certain someone who can give you a certain something. And, you know, when someone looks at you, you fit that bill. What do you say to someone who is wondering, well, what talent do you use and how did you get now the success and the money that you have now?
You have to build on what you have and what you know best. I worked in law firms. I studied law, and I went in and out of different companies. I worked for people. And it reached to a time when I didn't want to work for anybody. I wanted to build myself because I realized nothing wrong with working for someone, but I wasn't comfortable enough because I realized I'm building someone else's dream and not my own dream. So I started finding out, what am I good at? What do I want in life? Where do I see myself in 10 years? What do I want? I mean, you want to be confident, you want to have something that it's going to build you, make you go forward. And I wanted to be an example to many women because a lot of women and young girls, and I stand to be corrected, think that life is easy. You want something what someone else has, but you don't know how they build it up. If you're ready to work hard and you're ready to be motivated and you're ready to study, you have to be intelligent to do a lot of things. Nowadays, social media is a powerful tool, but we use it a lot of the times in the wrong way. And I don't think we enlighten and teach our society enough on how to build ourselves with the media. Yeah. I use media for everything. Like I Google if I want to. Even before I go to doctors, I'll Google. I'll see, okay, I have a headache. What do I need to take? before I go to the doctor. So if I go to the doctors, he's giving me second opinion, but I already knew it.
Right. And Bridget, let's come to you, because you've been very honest about your story and journey. You came from humble beginnings, started in Kibera, to where you are now. Take us through a young Bridget, growing up there. What was life like?
Oh, when I was a young Bridget, I think it started when I was young. You know, you grow up and in the hood is tough. And in the hood, there is no, you can't see tomorrow. Like, people just shut it for you. Like, you go to Kibera Primary, you go back to Lindy. I mean, it's not easy. So you see people out there, and maybe you can even ask your auntie, how did they make it to that place? They tell you, where's the fika uko? You know, they tend to just put you down. But I was that woman who, when I grew up, I suffered a lot of rejection. So it built up. Like, I was like, if I have to be whoever I want to be in future, I have to, like, tell myself, Bridget, you can do it, and you can. And there's one thing more that motivated me. I was like, I never used to take no for an answer. You can't tell me I'm fat and I can't do this, because I was always the fat kid. I was the youngest, but the biggest in the class. So anytime when we have to take our report forms, our birth certificate, maybe on class 8, and sometimes you just have to bring your documents to school. And when people see they'll be like, when you got 12, you know, like. So I suffered rejection well when I was a baby, and when I grew up, it was in my head, and I was like, how do I fight this? How do I make Bridget big? Because sometimes you go somewhere. I once got a boyfriend, and my boyfriend was from I've been so lucky to get guys who are from well-off families. So this is what teared me down. Like, okay, I went to meet their parents, and they're like, so who is your family in Kenya? Because I've been dating foreigners a lot. So who's your family? Who's your mother? Who's your mother? My mother is just a tailor. She can make for you a gown and it looks so pretty. So how do I want to, because my dad died when I was 12. So how do I want to, how will I tell this woman who's really strong and she's wearing gold all over her hands, and I'm a daughter of a nobody, all I can bring on the table is good food and laughter and, you know, make your boy happy, your son. So basically I don't know much. But my mother is just a tailor, and she's like, you're a daughter of a tailor, you don't fit here. You know, my son is a prince, so if you're going to fit in, you need to come from the same. So we can't marry you. You are a good girl. You have all the qualities. You are smart, but we need more. And you see, we don't know how to bring you to back in our country to meet our people. How will we say your mother is a tailor? And that thing really weighed me down. And I'm like, you know what, Bridget? You go back on the drawing board. You know? And
you talked about using social media to kind of grow your brand. You would put oftentimes suggestive pictures. You had a friend who would tell you, you look really beautiful, you have a nice body. Use that. And then eventually that brought attention of older men who said, that's a beautiful girl. And then it went from there. So how did you kind of get into this lifestyle where you were okay with an older man now giving you trips, money, or whatever else he could
Yeah,
do?
let's just say I lost a lot of millions. That is what most girls will not be told. Because sometimes I do an interview, I'm sorry to say, I did an interview with BBC 2 months prior to what people saw.
Yeah.
And they cut down, slashed it to how they wanted it to look. British just didn't come from here and got us a man and sponsored me and it was all good. No, it was never Mary. Because when I did those pictures, it was in my lowest moment. I was conned 5 million. I had a shop in town. People who know me would say that. And you know, sometimes the way they see me being pictured, they're like, "Hey, Bridget, why are you being pictured like this? And we know you like this. We know you." Forget about my success. Don't make it to social media. That's so unfortunate because they want to twist it the way they want it to be seen, so they can get views. Because a lot of young girls look up to Bridget because they know I'm a strong woman. I've gone through it all to be who I am today. And when I did the pictures, I was one day in my mom's house and we didn't have rent. And my uncles didn't want anything to do with us because after my dad died, they took like everything away from us. And I'm like, okay, I'm growing older and here is mom, she's still suffering. She took me to school, she took loans to make sure this girl can talk the English she talks today. And I was like, no. So if my friends keep telling me I have this nice body, I don't care how anyone would judge me, but I have to tell these girls the truth. And I was like, okay, so I have a nice body. So this is what they need in the society right now. If I'm going to be a model, I'll get paid. I'm going to host, they're going to get me paid. So, okay, what do I need to do? So I'm not going to mention the lady's name, but she's a very big girl in the country right now. She does plus size clothes, and she made me, like, she gave me that idea. And she was like, but just go do pictures with a nice, for photographer. Yeah. And if the photos turn out to be nice, I can push it for you in the media. And from there, because you know what you want with your, you know, when you get the fame, you know how you can go about it, because not necessarily you don't have to be a socialite. But when you get this picture, everyone will want to see you. You go for gigs, and that was why I fell for it, because it was easier for me
so when you got this attention from the pictures, for instance, and you know, a man says, "Can we meet?" You mentioned you were offered a trip to Dubai for, was it $10,000?
Yeah, that was my first time. Like, I got this DM, and then this Arab guy was ready to give me all the amount of money I wanted. And of course, some people would deny it because you just have to type with your phone. But this is a girl who had nothing. My mom bills need to be paid, and I don't have any other way. We already have too much loans that we need to clear in our family. We are threatened every day. And I was like, $10,000 would pay so, and so. Would even get our land back because they took also our land. And there was no one I could cry to. I didn't have anyone to, because when you're poor, when you don't have nothing, no one wants you. No one listens to you. Like, no one want to hang out with a girl who have nothing. Like, you don't get life has changed. You don't get the realness. So I was like, nigga, I want to offer me $10,000. I mean, I've never seen $10,000 raw in my life. I mean, let me try.
And you also said that you don't get nothing for nothing.
You don't.
Meaning you had to give something to get that.
Yeah, you don't get nothing for nothing. Sometimes you go and you get someone who's very crazy. You can get someone who's quite crazy and the one crazy thing. So it's up to you. Can you do it? Or can you not do it? If you can't do it, you're losing that money. Plus, your life can be at risk, because these people, they are very rich, you know, they have the power. You are in someone else's country. You have already boarded a flight. So how do you want to deny doing maybe one or two things that they want? So I just say it was grace. After that, I got that money. I went back and put up my shop, and I was like, it's not what. So when they called me again, I couldn't be able to do, because it takes a lot. And
I mean, these are things that, of course, you're not willing to share on television, that you're willing to do. But I mean, just talk through the reality, because it's ugly things. It's things you don't want to talk about and not share. And it's the reality of, if you want this money, if you want this life, there's a part of you have to give. What does that do to you emotionally, mentally, that you knew, I did this, I wasn't proud of it, but it's the reality of my life?
What would I say? This is what I would say about it. But I have to just say, this is it. Everything in life has a repercussion. You'll be told, if you do this, this would happen. If you do this, this would happen. So you have to choose. And life is unfair. Like, life itself is unfair. You don't have it, you have to get it. If you can't get it, at the end of it, you just die and your name will just go. So for me, I had to decide if I want to do it, if I don't want to do it. And of course, it drains you emotionally, because like, okay, maybe if my dad was still alive, I wouldn't be able to do it. You have those thoughts. I mean, of course, I would want to do this. And I want to put it up clear in public. I've never, my sponsors are not old people. My boyfriend is very young, and yeah, the father of my baby is very young, and I didn't have to sleep with a very old man to be who I am today. Because when you say sponsors, they feel it's very old. It can also be a young person who has money. That's what they don't get.
True. And okay, we also have a lot of the comments, people saying, this is just another form of prostitution, because you're giving of your body to get something in return. There's a transaction. What do you say about that? Because I even heard another young lady say, I think it's better than prostitution, because I'm not standing on the corner selling my body to just anyone. It's just one man who I know, and there's some sort of a relationship. What's your reaction to that?
This is what I would say, one word. Don't judge me, because I've seen differently from you. I would come out here and say, people won't come out and say what they do in the dark. But it takes a very bold and strong woman who knows that she's come out of it very strong. And we have many things we're doing. But let me tell you, you can't judge me, because I've seen differently. Everybody is a sinner. So if I slept with someone who's older just because he could dash me a few coins to pay my bills, you know, you are not the one to judge me. Let's leave that to God. When that time comes, I will answer to God.